Hi all. I thought I would do another Eternal Sealed deck building video. So this is actually a different pool from the last one that I did a video about because I actually But anyways, let's take a look at the rares and legendaries in this pool. So let's see, is Notorious Scoundrel, a 2 mana 2/1 Renown, play a +4/+2 weapon on Notorious Scoundrel, and the enemy player plays a 1 opposed or. So it's like a 2 mana 6/3, but if it dies, the opponent gets to draw 2 cards because that's what 1 opposer does. 2 mana Bell, Bardic Gates, choose a non-power card from the enemy player's hand. They can't play card with a name for 3 turns. This is basically irrelevant and limited. It's probably constructed also. Defender's Bulwark, 6 mana weapon, summon Defender's Bulwark. It's +1/+1 for each damage you were dealt last turn. Like, you have to take like 4 damage or 5 or more before this is actually relevant. So bad. Because if you're like ahead, you're not gonna be taking any damage, or with like a board stall, you're not gonna be taking any damage. So it's gonna be a 0/0 weapon. Honored Skyguard, 2 mana 2/2 flyer, ultimate pay 2 and discard a card to give Honored Skyguard +1/+1 and draw a card. So it's like you get to filter and then pump it to a 3/3. It's like rummaging, I guess, but it's also double primal, so you're probably not always going to be casting this on turn 2. Mind Link, whenever you transform an enemy card other than the one in their deck, create and draw a copy of the new card. This is basically unplayable. Skycrag Scalebreaker, 3 mana 3/3, Fate, create and draw a Skycrag Goad with flying, renown, +2 power. So this is like a. If you put the Skycrag Goad on the Skycrag Scalebreaker itself, it becomes a 5/5 flyer for 7 mana over 2 turns, which isn't a bad deal. You can also just put the Skycrag Goad onto something else. It's like bigger, for example, and give it flying. Just bad. Relentless Gorehorn, 4 mana 3/3 Revenge. Summon your other Minotaurs, get +2 power. This is mostly irrelevant. This was actually kind of relevant in set 2 draft, but it's not really relevant now because there's not enough Minotaurs to really get the full benefit of this. This is basically like a 4 mana 3/3 Revenge. Grasping at Shadows, usually worse than just playing Dark Return Unlimited unless you have a bunch of self-mill. Fearless Nomad, a 1 mana 3/1 Overwhelm. That's something you're really interested in. Also 2 factions, you're probably not casting on turn 1. Righteous Fury, give a unit double damage and life steal. So this is a fast spell. It's also not until end of turn, so it's like a permanent buff. So you have like a very large creature, and you give it double damage and life steal. That can just totally swing a game. Shelterwing Rider, flying Aegis. Shelterwing Rider has +5 power while she has an Aegis. So it's a 5/5 flyer with Aegis, but as soon as the Aegis goes away, it becomes an 0/5. And the opponent can break Aegis by putting a combat trick on it, but then they spent a combat trick and you still have a 0/5 flyer, so I guess it's relevant. Howling Kurtar, Deadly Endurance Pledge. That's a lot of text on it. Empower +2/+2 and flying. So that's like a really good stat line, like having 3/3 Deadly Endurance and then the Empower getting to attack as a 5/5 flyer. If they try to double block, they lose both of their blockers because of deadly, and then like on the defense, it's back there as a Deadly Endurance. This is very strong, but it's also like, very hard to cast because it's double justice. I guess it's sheltering. Double justice, double primal. But anyways, let's look at the colors. Sure. So fire, it bottoms up. 1 mana, fast spell with Amplify 2, give 2 power. This turn, Amplify 2, give a unit +2 power. Really good for like making your small creatures trade up, or you can just dump all of the Amplify onto the same unit to make it really, like, I guess it's like kind of a Lava Axe type effect, or Howl from Beyond if you're familiar with that magic card. Forge Wolf, 1 mana 1/1, deal 1 damage to enemy player. Whatever, 1 mana 1/1 quick draw, whatever. Overgrate, 2 mana, deal 3 to an enemy unit, amplify 5, deal 3 to additional enemy units. So it's good. So 7 mana, you can get like a 2 for 1 by like targeting 2 different things. Fire Main Lioness, 2 mana, 2/2, amplify 2, play 1/1 Wildcat with charge. Fine. It's like a mana dump because like if you play this on 4, you basically get a 2/2 and a 1/1. Play it on 6, you get a 2 mana 2/2 and you get 2/2 and 2 1/1s for 6. Flame Fang Charger, hard to cast 2/2. Like the Infiltrate usually doesn't matter that much because of 1 mana 3/1 Reckless is probably gonna die pretty quickly. But again, if you have ways of combat tricking a reckless creature, people will usually just like snap block a reckless creature because they assume you're attacking because it has reckless. So you have a combat trick, then reckless can sometimes in your favor. The Notorious Scoundrel, already talked about it. Oni Forge Master, 2 mana 2/2 Renown, create and draw plus weapon. So this just gives you more things to do with your renowns because you can throw a weapon on it and you get a new weapon to like put on something. Rampage, 2 power, +2/+1 cast spell, +3/+1 overwhelm this time. Ruination Sledge. Ruin by itself is not good to play in limited, but the fact that you get to actually destroy an attachment with the Ruination Sledge, like if you want to pay 5, that gives you a lot of flexibility. Because people do play like a lot of attachments with it typically. And if they don't, then it's just a +2. Sorry, that's a +3/+1, which isn't really the worst, especially with all the renowned creatures. Trick Shot. It's a combat trick that doesn't actually increase your it doesn't increase the creature's power or toughness. So it's kind of less. Frontier Bard, that's pretty good. Inspire. So it's like one or more of your units hit the enemy player. Frontier Bard gets +1. So I think this is triggers only once. This is when one or more of your units hit the enemy player. So it only triggers once per time that your opponent actually your units hit the enemy player. But the threat of it getting bigger will often make your opponent want to block because they want to block your other units so that the Frontier Bard is bigger, and then being able to give your units overwhelm bad. Especially like in Fire, where you're probably gonna be throwing a bunch of units anyways. Grandfather's Axe, 3 mana +1/+1. I don't really like this card, but sometimes if you really need like renown triggers, you can play it. Because like the idea is that if the unit dies, then you get to redraw it, and it helps you trigger more renown. Rebel Sharpshooter is pretty good. 3 mana 3/3. Gets quick draw when she has 4 power or more, and there's plenty of ways to give her 4 power. Sparkbot, 3 mana 1/4 Spark. Spark basically says if the enemy player is taking damage this turn, this does play. So it's gives you a 1/1 Spark. Play it. Or Painter, 3 mana 1/4 Inspire units you draw, get plus. Fine. Scale Channel Sorcerer. Whenever you play a spell, Scale Channel Sorcerer gets plus. I guess if you have a really spell heavy deck, then it's a good Spitfire, 4 mana Relic, K4 to deal 1 damage. I don't really like this card. I guess if you get really mana flooded, it can do something because you can activate it multiple times. But I don't really like it. Thunderhoof Warrior, 4 mana, 3/3 Overwhelm, ultimate pay 6 Thunderhoof. This is fine. I mean, I know a lot of people say they don't like this card, but I think it's actually fine because it's just like a mana sink later. Like it's just I don't know. I mean, 4 mana 3/3 flat. 4 mana 3/3 Overwhelm is fine, unlimited, and like you get the ultimate is like a mana. Overwhelm. Sure. It's like this pretty much kills anything, and then you kill like a small unit, then you actually get to deal a bunch of extra damage. And there's Purify, silence unit, and deal 3 damage to it. Spell, double faction, and then the Fearless Nomad, the double faction. Whatever red thing. I don't have to filter because I'm gonna keep seeing that. Arachidon Egg, 1 mana relic. And Arachnodon egg shakes. After the third shake, sacrifice the Arachnodon egg to play a 4. So this is really good on turn 1 and it's bad later in the game because you might not have like lands, or not land, but sigils to actually crack the egg. And then there's Gibbering Jackal, 1/1 killer. 1/1 is not actually really going to kill things by itself. Kind of irrelevant. Ornamental daggers. So Echo says get an additional copy when drawn. So this is like 2 mana +2/+2, but you can spread out the power and tough bonus of different units. It also works with like Warcry or things that pump the power and toughness or whatever of a weapon in your deck. Then it actually works well with the ornamental daggers because then you get to draw like a copy of a buffed weapon. Scorpion 1/1 deadly for 1. 2 mana, 2/3 bold adventure. Ag Beast, 2 mana, 2/1. Summon, you may play an additional power card this turn. It does not say, like, it's only after you play it that you get to play additional power. You do not get to play additional power on later turns. Sandglass Parma. 2 mana, +3 toughness weapon, +1 max power, spellcraft 3 play teleport. So this is like a ramping tool, but then you also get to play teleport, I guess. And there's a lot of people that play Voltron, so having like the ability to break up Voltron by bouncing it to the owner's hand is actually useful, because once you bounce a unit to its owner's hand, all the attachments will fall off, so something kind of relevant. Synchronized Strike, fast spell, 2 mana. Your units get +1/+1 this turn. Meh. Avarice Familiar, 3 mana, 1/2 flying with Warp. Warp says you can play it from the top of your deck. So if it's on the top of your deck, you can just play it from the top of your deck. So it's kind of like you get to virtually draw a card. It has to be on top of your deck before you play it. I guess that way. I mean, you can just play it from your hand too, but then you're not getting the virtual +1 max power. Okay. 3 mana, fast spell, kill an enemy attachment you gain. Death Strike. Warp, give one of your units killer. This is usually not good because it's kind of like you get to draw a card, but you have to. It has to be in a situation where you're really excited about giving one of your units killer right there to like benefit. If you're really hard on removal, maybe you can play it, but I don't. Discipline Emanera, 3 mana, 2/2 Mystic Life Force. When you gain life, Discipline Emanera gets plus. Which, if you have the life gain deck, it's good. Sandcrawler, 3 mana, 3/3 Overwhelm. Temple Artisan. Pledge. So Pledge says on your first turn, a card with Pledge can be played as a sigil. This is Empower, double Temple Artisans power and toughness. If you have some way of pumping the Temple Artisans power and toughness, then empowering makes it into like a real threat. But otherwise, like, if you don't, then doubling a 2/2 into a 4/4 is not super exciting, but it's fine. It only stays powered up for this turn. It's not like with Order of the Spire or whatever, where it continues stuff. Power Top Patrol, 4 mana, 1/5 flyer, which is fine. Pretty much blocks everything, like early game. It doesn't have deadly. Twin Fang Cobra, 4 mana, 2/1 deadly, Entomb, create and draw a +2 power Viper Fang deadly. So it's good because it's like a 2-for-1. You just have to be aware of like silent, the silent happy, because then it just becomes a basic 2/1 without no Entomb. Viper's Bite, 4 mana spell, give one a unit deadly, fast spell. Usually not very good. Humbug Swarm, 6 mana, play 3, 1/1 Humbug with flying. I don't know why they nerfed this, but it used to be 5, but they nerfed it for. Lumen Shepherd, 6 mana, 4/6 Fate, play a 1 Wisp. So when you draw it, you get to play a 1 Wisp. So it's like, it's not bad in the early game. You get to have a free 1/1. And then Power Breach Sentinel. Actually pretty good in this format, just because getting the play, it's a 6 mana 5/6, but then getting to play the top card from your deck, top power card from your deck, is actually legit because it thins out the power from the top of your deck when you play your top power card. Because a lot of the power searchers actually take a random card from your deck, so you're not guaranteed that it's changing like any of the order of your deck in like a positive way, but Power Breach Sentinel plays the top power cards. It's actually alright. Going to Justice is end your give one of your units invulnerable to damage. Usually not worth playing. Minotaur Earthkeeper 1 mana 1/1. When you attack the enemy player with exactly one unit, it gets plus one. So this is like exalted. It's like an exalted on a 1/1. Fine. Oni Samurai 1 mana 1/2 Warcry, usually not worth playing. Unmoored Valkyrie 1 mana 1/1 playing round lifesteal. Usually not worth playing unless you have a bunch of weapons. Argent Port Soldier 2 mana 3/2. Axe Sharpener 2 mana 2/3. Entomb, create and draw a copy of each weapon Axe Sharpener was wielding. So you get to throw a bunch of weapons on this, and if they don't have a silence or a bounce spell, you're pretty good because you get to if it dies, then you get to redraw the weapons. Handy. Barda Gates, I already talked about a little bit. You don't play this. So it's Crownwatch Longsword, 2 mana, +2/+2 weapon. It's fine. Tinker. I usually don't play this card because I don't think Scout makes up for the card advantage of playing this. I know it does pump the top unit of your weapon in your deck by +2/+2, but I don't think it's actually worth play this. Or a Curd Ward, give one of your units Aegis, you gain an Aegis. So this is like a really expensive Protect, and I don't even think Protect was good. I guess Protect is 2 mana now, so not like that much more expensive than Protect, but I don't think this is a card I would play. Emerald Ring is good and sealed. It might be a little bit slow in draft because you're paying 3 to put a 1/1 weapon on each of your unit, and you have to pay 3 just to play the ring itself, so it's very slow. You have to pay 6 basically before you get to actually see benefit from the Emerald Ring, but it's going to take over a game, and it also triggers Renown every time you play a +1/+1 weapon on your units. So it's actually it's Coastal Battle Mage, 3 mana 3/3 Aegis. Whenever you play a spell, Coastal Battle Mage +1/+1 this turn. So it's like Aegis unit, which is a good target for any weapons, but it's also having the threat of pumping it from like tricks. Like, you don't even need to pump the Coastal Battle Mage with the combat trick. You just cast a spell in general, like in the middle of combat, and then the threat of making it bigger in middle of combat makes when it's less likely to want to. And then Loyal Watchwing 3 mana 1/1 for War. I usually don't like the Warcry says when this attacks top unit of your deck is plus. I usually don't like playing this because I think it's too small. Like, evasion is handy on a Warcry unit. Really small. It's so bad when you're like behind because like a 3 mana 1/1 doesn't block really very well. And the Brass Beacon, whenever you attack with 3 or more units, adjust this skill from your deck to please someone play a 1/1. So this is like a 3 mana 1/1 district infantry, but it has like a little bit of synergy, I guess, with like the go wide strategy because you're more likely to activate the Seraph Beacon, and then also it has synergy with Empower because if you actually trigger the Seraph Beacon, you get to play a Justice deck depleted, which triggers Empower. But it's just kind of really tricky to make use of it. I usually don't. This Valor Stranger 3 mana 2/2 have war. Like a 2/2's Warcry is not good for 3, and then like, I guess if you have a ton of Stranger, that's fine, but I just don't think that's actually like worth even more. I mean, it also Warcry itself, but I don't want to play like a 3 mana 2/2 Warcry typically in limited Upper Hall Recruit 4 mana 2/5. Play it. You have to Rabble Rouser 4 mana 2/2. Revenge. So Revenge says the first time it's killed, give it Destiny and put it in the top part of your deck. I don't actually like this card, but some people like it. I don't know, just because sometimes you can use it to like force damage. And I think this will no, actually, I don't think this actually. I actually don't know if this triggers Renown, but I don't think it does. And then there's Scepter of Nobility, 5 mana, 3/3 relic weapon. I don't really like that either. It's just really expensive. It's like bad Mithril Mace, but I guess if you have enough weapons, then playing it for 3 is not bad. And then there's Aerialist Kopech, 6 mana, 3/3, summon the wielder gets flying. So it only gets flying one turn, but then it's permanently buffed by +3/+3. Sometimes you can just use this as like a way to like randomly jump one of your units and deal like the last bit of damage to win the game. Then there's the Defender's Bulwark. It's pretty much playable. Oathkeeper's Hammer, 6 mana, 2/2. Lifesteal. So it's like Mark of the Vampire from Magic, except it costs 6. But since there's like a lot of renowned things, then this gets a little bit better in that context. Primal, clan standard depleted, gain primal, transmute 5. The transmute 5 says whenever you reach 5 maximum power, this transforms into a new card. And then the new card is Clan Tactic, which costs 2. It deals enemy. So it's like an improved light. Steely resolves 0, fast spell, negate enemies. So enemy spell only refers to things that say spell in them. Like fast spell or spell. It does not include like units or whatever, because units are actually like not spells. So that's what makes like things like Steely Resolve worse. One man, Mischief Yeti, 1 mana 2/1 Renown, create and draw Snowball. Yeah. And 1 mana 2/1 usually isn't that much different from a 2 mana 2/2 in limited, but sometimes like again it's just like another thing to like Renown, and maybe you want to have Renown and like like it's like a small little benefit getting a Snowball. Permafrost, so it says stun the cursed unit for as long as it's cursed. So it's just like a claustrophobia or whatever, like from Magic. It says this unit is exhausted, won't ready while stunned. Exhausted units can't attack. They can defeat this by giving the unit endurance, because endurance actually means the unit can't be stunned, so that it would get rid of the permafrost. No Rage or Berserk. Berserk says when this attacks, you may give it Reckless to attack a second time this turn. Can only be used once, so it permanently will get the Reckless, whatever, after you use the second attack ability. And then Tribute, create and draw. It's a 1 mana 1/1. Try not to play those. Limited, and Yeti Spy, 1 mana 1/1. Play it typically. Limited. Backlash. Counter spell. Pretty much negate enemy spell and deal 2 damage to the player. Since again, there's not that many spells that get played in Eternal, and weapons, and like weapons and relic weapons don't count as spells either. It makes counter spells that only target like spells bad. Borderlands Waykeeper, 2 mana 1/3 Aegis, ultimate pay 4 to get Borderlands Waykeeper plus flying. I think that's fine usually. It's like a whatever Eastwind Herald or whatever, and then you can just has Aegis, and like you can pay 4 to give it +1 more flying. So it kind of turns into like aerial base later, which isn't like the worst thing. Cloud Snake Breather, Spark, play a 1/2. It's hard to actually get this out on turn 2, but you probably don't really want to get out on turn 2 anyway, because like you would have to have it had played like a creature on 1 and then attack with it in order to trigger the Spark. Like, I'm not really that excited about Cloud Snake Hatchlings or 2 mana 2/1. I want to play this, and then Entangling Vines, Warp, stun 2 enemy units. This can be good if you just want to force through damage, but keep in mind, like, a lot of the value of casting Flash Freeze or like Frost Wave is being able to do it in middle of combat. So, and you can't do that with Entangling because it's a spell, not fast spell. Honored Skyguard, 2 mana 2/2 flyer with the ultimate pay 2 and Honored Skyguard +1/+1 draw a card. It's like a 3 mana. Sorry, it's a 4 mana 3/3 flyer if you pay for the ultimate, and you get to rummage. Not bad. Hopeful Huntsman's 2 mana 1/3 Renowned Killer. It's fine. Sometimes you'll throw like a combat trick on this to like turn it into like a removal spell. And Snowfort Trumpeter. So it's like a hard to cast 2/2, but a tribute +2/+2. You usually don't cast this on turn 2 because one, the primal is really hard. Like double primal is kind of hard to like have on turn 2. in limited, and then also like you want to tribute this. You don't really want to just do, but it's really more like a 3-drop or a 4-drop that you play as like a 4/4 after like your opponent blocks. Talon Dive, give a unit with flying plus 1 over. Just because it's like so restrictive, the only be able to target a unit with flying with it. Yeti Snowslinger, 2-mana 2/2 infiltrate, create and draw. Fine. Sometimes you get a little bit of value with a snowball. Cobalt Acolyte, 3-mana plus 3-mana 2/1, give it a unit flying. So you can give itself flying or give another. Mind Link is basically has no text in because we're going to be really transforming it much limited anyways. You don't really want to spend a card to like transform your enemy's unit into like a frog or something like that and then draw a frog at distance. Backrack Scalebreaker, good. Sudden Schism can trigger Renown. Good if you have like a lot of bomb units, but otherwise it's kind of bleh because like you're spending 4 to copy a unit. Like if you have a lot of expensive beef, maybe that's better. Because, I mean, you can also do it at fast spell, like I said. You can do it at fast speed, maybe to like create like a surprise or which is that exciting. Cerso's Meddling, 6 mana, fast spell, transform it into a big, usually not playable. Dramatic Blast, 6 mana spell, deals, it costs 1 less for each spell in your void and deal 3 damage. Usually also not played. Borrowed Violence, so Shadow cards. So Borrowed Violence, each unit in your hand gets +1 power. Don't play it. Fallen Oni, 1 mana, 1/2. The enemy player discards the top unit of the deck. That's also not playable. Luck Horns is like a really weird combat trick, kind of situational removal spell, giving a unit +3/-1 this turn. Rat Cage. Whenever you play a relic, including Rat Cage, play a 1/1 rat that can't block. So 1 mana, make a 1/1 rat that can't block isn't very good. You want to play a Rat Cage and then follow it up with a bunch of relics. Basically the idea, but it kind of goes in, I guess, with like the relic strategies or the go wide strategies. You're going for that, but I'm not really. Suffocate, 1 mana spell, kill a unit. That's good. Hawk Tick, 1 mana, 1/1, Revenge. That's not good. Just because the 1 mana, 1/1 is not very good. So getting it back is also very good. Magenta Wisp, 2 mana, 2/2, pay 1 and sacrifice to kill it with 3 power. So it's like Suffocate with a body, but you're gonna have to pay 3, I guess, to do this. But you'll still play Magenta Wisp and be happy about it because like if you don't need the Suffocate, it's still a 2/2 that can attack. Oblivio Bot, 2 mana, 5/1, empower, sacrifice Oblivio Bot. So basically the idea is that you play it and then don't play any more power because then you have to, if you don't play, you have to not play power because if you do, then you have to. But a 5/1's probably going to try anything anyway, so it's not like stick around long. Rapid Shot, 1 mana, fast spell, give a unit +4 power, quick. So quick draw only works when attacking because it says quick draw. When this kills a blocking unit, the blocker doesn't deal damage back. So this encourages you to be aggressive, but you can play it on the defense when you're like really desperate. But you get most of the value from Rapid Shot by playing aggressively. Threaten, 2 mana, fast spell, give 1 of you, it's +2 power. This is a permanent buff, but it's usually not good enough to like want to pump 1 of your units by +2 power. It's a good thing, even if it is a banished Umbra. Once per turn, you may pay 5 to make the player discard the top. This is functionally a 3 mana 2/3. Because milling your opponent's not really that exciting and limited. Left Right Nightblade, 3 mana 2/2 unblockable. This is actually good because you can throw your weapons on it and it has evasion because unblockable. Mug, 3 mana spell, the enemy player discards a non-power choice from their hand. I don't know, it's I think this is better in then isn't limited, but I guess you can play it if you're really short. Plague, 3 mana spell. Enemy units get -1/-1 permanently. This is actually good. Either 3 mana 1/2 life link, life steal. Fine, I'll play it. It's not super happy about it. Well, Bludgeoner, 4 mana 3/3. +2/+2 while wielding weapon. So I guess again, not a great stat line initially, but if you throw a weapon on it, then it gets crazy. It only gets the +2/+2 once because it says +2/+2 while wielding weapon. It doesn't say +2/+2 for each. Whatever. Hold up. So this is like 4 mana spell. The enemy player discards this from their hands. So this is like mind magic. Well, as Gorehorn, I talked about it, but it's 4 mana 3/3 and for other Minotaurs get +2/+2. You'd have like enough Minotaurs for this deck to be better than like a 4 mana 3/3. Grasping of Shadows, 5 mana, play a unit from your Cut Tie, 6 mana, fast spell, kill it. You'll still play this, like just because there's not that much removal in that you end up 6 mana removal spells just to have. And then Cabal Rogue, unblockable. 5. Really bad stat line because basically like a 3/3 for 7 if you look at it that way. And like a 5/1's gonna die to a lot of things, but if you're really desperate for like a win condition, something like a 5 can get you there. Just Purify, Fire Time, spell, silence a unit, deal 3 damage. Being able to silence a unit before dealing damage to it can be super relevant because it can remove some text that would like things like if it has text that's making the creature bigger, like say Champion of Glory, for example, that gets +2 power and +2 toughness, the influence from meeting the influence requirements on it, and then silencing it, and then I mean it would still have died to the Purify anyways, but there are definitely some situations where silence. It also turns off like Entomb, for example, when you silence a unit before dealing. It also nerfs like any kind of reanimation strategy because they can try to reanimate the unit, but it'll still be silenced. Fearless Nomad, 1 mana, Fire Justice, 3. Hard to cast. This is not really a turn 1 play in limited. This is basically like you play this like on turn 2, or you might play it on turn 3 with like another play. Crown Watch Deserter, Fire Justice, 3 mana, 3/3 Warcry. This is fine. It's good or whatever. This is a reason to play Fire Justice. Righteous Fury, 4 mana, fast spell, give a unit double damage, lifesteal. Again, if you put this on a very suitably large unit, then you actually get to do a ton of damage and gain a bunch of life back. Deadeye. Pledge, Renown. If the spell or weapon costs 4 more, play a +1/+1 weapon on each of your units. Otherwise, just play 1 on Deadeye. So this encourages you to want to play expensive spells or weapons on the Deadeye so that you get to go wide. Like it helps with the go wide strategy because you're putting a bunch of +1/+1 weapons on your other units. And also the Deadeye itself also gets a +1/+1 weapon from being targeted by the Renown, or they're getting this unit, they're getting the weapon. Hunter's Harpoon, Fire, Primal, Weapon, +1/+1, or Quick Draw. When the wielder hits the enemy player, draw a card. So the idea is that you put this on like an evasive unit, or you put it on a very large unit, just so that people will have to end up like chump blocking it, otherwise you get to draw a card. Bloodthirsty Brawler, Fire, Primal, 5-drop, 4/6 Berserk, Overwhelm. This is pretty good stats for like a 5-drop and with Berserk too. So like there's a pretty good chance it's going to get in multiple times. Stone Scar Banner gives you Fire and Shadow, which is something that's usually interesting, like a splash, or even in your 2 main colors. You want to play some number of banners to give you more consistency. Obsidian Golem, 2 mana, Fire Shadow, 2/2, Entomb, create and draw. +2/+2 Obsidian. So it's like a 2-for-1, assuming you trade this for like a 2/2 and you get to draw Obsidian. Playing Huntcaller, Warcry, summon your other units, get Warcry. This goes with like the go wide strategy because giving your other units Warcry return can give you some really huge buffs to the top unit of your weapon in your deck. Karmic Guardian, 4 mana, time, justice, 1/4, flying, endurance, life steal. So there's a lot of text on it. It's really good at blocking and really good at holding weapons. It's like a flying, endurance, life steal is a really good target. And Elysian Banner gives you time and prime. Elysian Banner gives you left right courtier. 2 mana 0/3 when you play a relic draw deck. So again, it says draw the top power card of your deck, so it's really good at like I guess making your top decks better. Aerialist Trainer, 3 mana 2/4 Justice, double prime. Mentor, give the student +1/+1. If the student has flying, draw. So it encourages you to play more flyers because you get to draw cards you mentor. Mentor says whenever card with mentor is played, you exhaust one of your units of the student to get an extra effect. So it has, when you say exhaust one of your unit, it has to be like an unexhausted unit or whatever. So you can't attack that turn with that unit or do like other things, I guess, that would require. But it gives you like a small payoff. Here you can see it gives the student gives you an option like drawing a card of this Shelter Wing Rider, 4 mana, Justice Prime 05. If flying Aegis, Shelter Wing has +5 power while she has an Aegis, so the 5/5 Aegis. But as soon as your opponent targets it with anything, it'll become an 05. But I mean, an 05 flyer is still blocking. You might have ways of giving. Auric Bully +1/+1 fielding weapon to 2 mana 3/2. So basically like a hard to cast Argent Port Soldier, but there's a little bit of upside if you have weapons. Howling Kurtar, 4 mana, 3/3, double justice, double shadow, deadly endurance. Really good, but it's hard to. This is like a very big incentive. Token of Ambition depleted gives you fire, justice, or shadows. You have to choose one. Blaze, 4 mana, fire, justice, shadow card. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number. So that rewards you for playing like a go wide strategy, and then it's also kind of good with your relic weapon. Get to like gaining armor is good with relic weapons because it helps your relic weapon stay around longer because you don't actually lose your relic weapon, run out of armor, or it gets this or whatever disjunction. Token of Vision depleted. Gain time, justice, or shadow. So you have to choose one. Fleet Basin Guide, 3 mana 1/1. Go for it's good if you're attacking and you're consistently hitting your power drop is bad, obviously, at defending because it's a 1/1 on the defense. Argent Port Stranger, 2 mana 2/2, gives you justice and shadow. Helps if you're in Bannerman, 2 mana 2/2. Gives you one type of influence, like you have to choose. But it's better if you don't know what like you're playing like a lot of different colors, Bannerman to help you get you one of the colors you need. Leasing Stranger, 2 mana 2/2, gain and Iron Hook, 3 mana 2/2. So this is like the whatever Talon of Nostrix, which was a 2 mana 2/2 Injustice, but this costs 3 and doesn't have any kind of influence requirement. I usually just don't end up playing Replicator Engine. 3 mana 2/1 summon a Replicator Engine. Like you don't really want to play a 3 mana 2/1, but I guess if you have enough of these, then it's not terrible. But I'm usually I think based on looking at the cards in the pool, I would want to play Fire because I have like the most number of playables there, but I also kind of want to play the Justice Shadow because of the Howling Kurtar. So I look at the rares and legendaries again. I mean, Howling Kurtar is like the best card there, but I also have some okay primal cards too. I'm kind of interested in. So, try different things. I mean, there's also the Righteous Fury Deadeye combo, which is kind of cool, but let's see. Let's just quickly go over playables. So what bottoms up? Also great. Fire Main Lioness. This is fine. Rampage is fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's also fine. I'll play both of the Thunderhoof Warriors. Yeah, Fire looks like the deepest color because I have like 14 of those cards I would want to play. So if I look in Justice at this, play both of 3/2s and the 2/3. Play the Crown Watch Longsword. Play one Emerald Ring. Yeah, Justice is like a lot narrower. I could play all of these weapons. I'm not like super excited about it. I don't know if I would necessarily want to play the Scepter of Nobility or the Loyal Watchwing or Sraph's Beacon. I'll just do that. I mean, this is a deck right there. Like, if I just wanted to submit something right there, I could just do that. Like, 2 colors, really, really not anything, like, super fancy, but, I mean, it's playable. I could look at a different build, too, so just get rid of that. It's always worth, like, just checking. So I play the Howling Kurtar and this. I put the Argenport Stranger. Are there Time Lord? I could put Bannerman. That. Emerald Ring. That. Shadow. Let's see if there's anything exciting. Shadows a Suffocate. The Wisp. Rapid Spot. Friday Night Blade. Plague. Ties. Yeah, this is like a lot worse because there's not enough like really exciting cards I want to play, and specifically Argenport. So I feel, let's see, I have to play some really sketchy things to fill out the curve. Like, let's see, go back in. I'm just seeing if there's like any units that like would actually be okay. I could play the Replenish. I could play Rabble Rouser. Play like one. I played Bow with a Loyal Watchwing. It's not like the worst, and that's kind of absurd. Yeah, this is like a lot worse. Looking at it, I could splash something also. I do have I think I have the Token of Ambition. It would have to be like really exciting for me to want to splash it. Like, let me see. Let me see. I think there was like, yeah, there's the Token of Vision and the Xenon Banner, which would let me splash. No, I can't splash because it's Karmic Guardian, because that's actually kind of bad. There's like a fire card I would want to splash. I could splash. I could splash a red card because Stone Scar Banner and the token. I could splash Righteous Fury. I don't know if I would splash Deadeye. I mean, that's a possibility too, but I feel like this is a lot worse than just that other build that I had. Like if I did something like this. I'm playing like on Mord Valkyrie and a Loyal Watchwing and a Skeeter and a Rebel Rouser and a Relentless Gore. They do a lot. Like I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3, 4 other Minotaurs, so Relentless Gorehorn. It's not really that exciting. Like, it's only good if I'm really excited about the cut ties. I might just want to splash cut ties in a different deck. I'll just cut this all. Let's look at Primal, just in case. Missing something. Primal. Clan Standard. 2-1 Permafrost. Hard to cast 2-2. Play Sun Schism if I could get enough. Hunter's Harpoon and this. I played the Bannerman anyways. I have things that give specifically fire, but if I do fire and like Skycrag or whatever, that might actually work too. I don't really want this spot. I mean, this is a possibility also with Skycrag. That gives me the Skyguard and the Skycrag Scalebreaker, and he gives me a 2-1 for 2, which I can pump with the Ruination Sledge, Harpoon, or the bottoms up a Rampage. I guess 7 Schism on Scalebreaker doesn't sound that bad. I actually have to add in one more card. I just realized I'm using Clan Standard. I mean, this is a possibility also, but add in. I mean, I can play the Flame Fang Charger, but that's not. I can't splash anything unless I want to splash specifically like a shadow card. I don't splash in here. Like, am I splashing a Clan Hunt Caller? I'm splashing a Clan Hunt Caller. I guess Cut Ties. I could splash Cut Ties in this deck. Just have like another room. I'd probably play Token, Depleted Power, and our Banner, and Cut Ties. Yes. If I was gonna do this, you know. I'm not really convinced this is necessarily the best thing I have. Let's see, I have 1, this can get flying, 2, 3, 4, this gets flying. I mean, that's probably fine, but I mean, there's like a lot of different ways to build a deck. I think definitely for sure, like the Justice Shadow are really bad, but we can look at the time, the quick to see total number of time playables, just in case I'm missing something. Play a bunch of 3-mana 3/3s. This is basically time. I don't actually have time dual color cards that I'm excited about though. Like none of them are like it feels like the payoffs are actually the payouts in the pool are actually like the primals for the 2 flyer, like the Skycrag Scalebreaker and the other thing. The thing. Skyguard and the Skycrags are just have flying, because like flying can like win a lot of games that you wouldn't normally win. But I also don't mind like the whole the Ricano whatever suit up guy strategy either. That's not like terrible. I think definitely if I made a deck here, it would have to have hair in it because I feel like it's just like the best. That's like the deepest color in the pool. It'll have some amount of fun. Decide what else I would want to compare with this because like time basically gives option to splash Karmic Guardian, or if time was a main color, or Purify. It would do something like this. I don't know what I would ramp to, but I'll just leave it in there as an option. But yeah, see, this is also like an option like Praxis something, but it's not really that. Like the main card, I would be excited about it. Yes. What else am I? Bannerman fix. I'll just I do like the idea of ornamental daggers with the Oni Forge Master because it's like two ways to trigger renown. I don't have that many ways. I don't really have that many things that care about being renowned here, anyways. Well, I hope that helped, like the discussion of the cards. Like if you're trying to make a deck of your own, and probably see you around when I play some of these games on stream. But I'm going to take off for now. But anyways, thanks for watching.